North Korea is a secretive and an isolated nation. The nation continuously tries to rattle the West with its missile tests and its nuclear saber rattling. But no one actually knows what happens inside the hermit kingdom that has now willfully isolated itself from the outside world. Also officially, the coronavirus was only found there a month back. Cases are continuously rising, but that's not the only problem. There is also a huge food crisis plaguing the country. Along with the dire economic crisis, it's a perfect storm that is brewing. But even as North Koreans endure such hardship, its leader, Kim Jong-un, has ignored every call for aid offered by multilateral bodies and other nations, including its estranged neighbor, South Korea. The country is currently facing two main crises. First is the rising COVID-19 case count. The second is food and agriculture crisis. Let's discuss the COVID situation first. North Korea reported its first COVID case on May 12th. The nation was under a strict lockdown and border closures for more than 2 years. While the leader Kim Jong-un declared that the virus is under control, but in absence of data and independent verification, the actual scale of the outbreak in North Korea remains unclear. The government has also declined the implementation of global vaccine sharing scheme COVAX. In essence, there are no vaccines available for North Koreans. In mid-May, the United Nations raised an alarm about the increasing COVID cases in North Korea. The country's population is still unvaccinated against COVID-19. The United Nations warned that North Korea's population is vulnerable and that the body again offered assistance and jabs. The World Health Organization highlighted that the highly contagious Omicron variant could prove to be disastrous. A total of 56 deaths and nearly 1.5 million cases of fever have been reported by Pyongyang. According to a report released by an online newspaper in September last year, 45 soldiers of the North Korean specialized military forces died from suspected COVID infections. Unfortunately, the underlying cause of death is not just the virus, but also the poor nutrition. In a report released by the Food and Agriculture Organization and the World Food Programme, 10.9 million North Koreans, which is around 42% of the population, is currently facing a food crisis. These people are in urgent need of help. According to experts, North Korea has one of the world's worst healthcare systems with no COVID treatment, drugs or mass testing ability. And the virus has directly and indirectly impacted malnutrition worldwide. The country is facing a serious economic and food security situation for a very long time, with the United Nations imposing sanctions on the country in 2017 on all major exports and imports, with a few international allies like China. The country was able to pull support for the 2019-2020 economic and food crisis, but in 2021's climatic disasters, rising prices and border restrictions limited this aid, provoking food scarcity. Despite all these problems in the country, Kim Jong-un is focusing on the nuclear capabilities and is busy carrying out intercontinental ballistic missile tests, ratcheting up tensions with the West. WION World is One is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news updates on the move.